Okay, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Barakathum, to all the Akim out there, and Yahweh Shamar Alathan, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, to all the Akwathian out there. That's all of our sisters. Akim, of course, is our brothers. We are going to continue with the Lashawan Qadash series that we've been doing. Every week, we review what we did the last week so that people can catch up. If you missed last week, we always do a review. I see we have one sister online, so anybody else that joins online, this class is very interactive. So if I see that you are online, I will ask you to participate. Even saying I don't know will help. You know, it's okay to say I don't know for things, and for you to take notes. The way we learn Hebrew in this class is we learn through repetition, through singing. And I'm not a singer, I'm not a rapper, I'm not an artist. But however, I have learned that, you know, when you're learning a language, just like with any language, a lot of times when we learn things through song, through repetition, just like when we're younger, it sticks. So that's what we're doing with this Hebrew. So please do not complain to Command Agent Johanna and say that this guy on here is trying to sing or rap songs that does not sound good. That's not the point. The point is for you to learn. So even through the song or the how we say it, is for you to remember it. Just like when you were younger, you learned your ABCs through song. That's how we're going to do things here. All right. So we're going to start like we did last week. Last week, we're gonna review where we ended off last week. So last week we ended off with the days of the week. We did a song with days of the week, and we are gonna go over that again. That's gonna be our review. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go over our days of the week through our song. We're going to review our colors really quick. We learned 2 new colors last week. We're going to go over them. We're going to go over our seasons, and then we're going to end off with our months. Okay, we're going to do our song with our months. Since there's 12 months, we might only go through 3 months, but we're going to do the song and do repetition, and we're just going to have fun. Might as well while you're learning the Lashawan Qadash. So before I get off I get off with the song that we did last week, we started off. The title of the song is Days of the Week. Okay, and Days of the Week, I will put this in the chat. In Hebrew is Yom Ba Shaba Wai. Okay, and that means Yom Ba Shabawai. Okay? That means days of the week. Okay? Yom Ba Shabawai. Okay? That just means days of the week. I'll put that also in the chat. Okay? That's all it means. Yom Ba Shabawai. Okay, Yum. Okay, if anybody remembers from last week, day in Hebrew is Yawam. And there's a rule in Hebrew for the most part. Now, this is not always for every word, but if you want to make something plural, you put a yum at the end. So we would drop the wa, and we would just say yum, and then add another yum at the end. Yum, that means days in Hebrew. Okay? So yum means days. Okay? Ba in Hebrew has a lot of meanings to it. It can mean in, it can mean on, it can mean with, in reference to. Okay? In this instance, ba is like in. Okay? So days in. Yum ba. Okay? And then shabawai. Okay? In Hebrew, you got the word shabawai, which is related to the word shabai. And Shabbai in Hebrew means 7, and you know there's 7 days in a week, so we have Shabawai. Okay, so Shabawai, and sometimes it's even pronounced Shabbai. So week and the number 7 are, sometimes it's the same word. Okay, for this instance, I put Shabawai so you can make a distinction, because Shabawai is kind of like adding an ing, but that's for another lesson. However, just so you can understand, yum yum ba Shabawai, okay, days in week, okay, that's what it really means, days in week. So we went through and we started off our song. Our song had a chorus, and it said in English, I'll put it in English first, okay? The chorus for the song we had last week are there are 7, I'll put this in the chat, days. There are 7 days. Slack-you. Can't type today. There are 7 days in a week, okay? That is what we said in our song. Now, I see a couple people on, okay? So, in order to say that in Hebrew, okay, we have to break that down. We're going to be saying yash. Yash means there are. Okay, there's other ways to say there are, but we're going to say yash. Yash means there are. Shabai. Okay, remember I said Shabai can mean 7 or it can mean a week. So to make the distinction, we're going to say there are Shabai 7, and then we said days, yum yum. Okay, like I said, Yash, Shabai, yum yum. Okay, and then it's ba in this instance is in, okay, week. Okay, Shabawai. All right, so Yash, Shabai, yum yum, ba, Shabawai. Okay, that I'll put that in the chat. Yash, Shabai, yum yum, ba, Shabawai. There are 7 days in a week. Okay, we got this last time we sung it, and talked about it. Okay, and we're going to do it again so that you understand. This really, you should also, if you have children, have your children listen to this, especially if your children are from between the ages of, 0 to 5, because they're going to soak it in a lot easier. So when you're talking to them, okay, you could, and asking them what are the days of the week, they'll be just saying the stuff in Hebrew. Okay, they'll be saying these things in Hebrew, and you'll be like, wow. Okay, you want that to stick in. Okay, just like you want the food to stick in. You want the numbers to stick in. And what we're doing is we're combining the numbers that we learned with the days of the week and the months so that the numbers can stick. Okay, so remember when we're doing the chorus, okay, we're saying there are 7 days in a week. That's the flow. There are 7 days in a week. Okay, so to say that in Hebrew, it's Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. Okay, make sure you're actually saying it and speaking it. Don't just listen to me. You want to be saying it. You can go as slow as you can. You can go as fast as you can. Okay, but to get the cadence down, so this can stay in your mind. Okay, and you're telling your children this, and as you're going and tucking them to bed at night, you say Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. There are 7 days in a week, and then have them say it. What are those 7 days? Okay, and see what they can say. All right, so let's start off just simple. We're going to say the chorus 4 times. I want you to say it 4 times. Okay, then we're going to jump to English so we can connect the English that we already know with the Hebrew. Okay, let's start off slow. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. 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 There are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days. Back to Hebrew. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shab. English. There are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days. Back to Hebrew. Yash Shabai Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. 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 Excellent. That's the chorus. That's the show. There are 7 days in a week. Type in the chat if you're writing down. How do you say there are 7 days in a week? Let me see people put that in the chat. See if you got it down. How do you say that? Type in the chat right now. I see a couple people here. How do you say there are 7 days in a week? Go ahead and put that in the chat right now. I'll wait for you. I'll give you about 30 seconds. Okay? How do you say that? Okay? And that's important because, the 7 days of the week takes us back to creation, takes us back to Genesis. All right? And we know that each day of the week, we might do a pop quiz next week, when we say, well, what happened on day 1? What happened on day 2? All right? Type it in the chat. I know there's a couple people on. Type it in the chat. Okay? How do you say there are 7 days in a week? Okay? You need to go back, just review it. Okay? I see a couple people put it. I'll put it again in the chat. Yash, Shabai. Okay, yum, yum. Ba, Shabawai. Okay? Make sure you get your make sure we spell it correctly. I'm putting it in the chat. Look at it in the chat. Yash, Shabai, yum, yum, ba, Shabawai. Okay? There are 7 days in a week. All right. Now, after that, we learned each day. Okay. When we were into our captivity, we had, our oppressors put names to the days of the week. Okay. They put Sunday, Monday, and these are in accordance really to their gods or who they worship, and to the planets and to the solar system. Okay. It was not in our culture. We just called it day 1. It goes back to Genesis. Day 2. Okay. And that's what we did. Okay. So day 1, or what we would call the first day, what we would call Sunday in our captivity, was just called day 1. Okay. Or day first. Okay. Okay. Day first. So what was day first? Yawam Ra'ashwan. Day first. So when we sang our song, because remember, day is Yawam. Yawam Ra'ashwan. Okay? And that word Ra'ash means chief, first, or head day. Chief day. That's what you're really saying. Okay? I'll put a comma here and I'll put in I'll put that in the chat. Day first. Okay? Or head day. Okay? Yawam Ra'ashwan. Day first. That's what we're saying. Okay, we're going to say this when we go into our song. Yawam Ra'ashwan, day first. Okay, we'll sing the chorus. We're going to do the first 3. Okay, then day 2. Okay, day 2. How would I say day first? Can somebody tell me what day is in Hebrew? Okay, I just said it. Put it in the chat. What is day in Hebrew? Not days. We already know days is yum yum. What is day? Put it in the chat. How do you say day in Hebrew? Let's put that in the chat there. Okay? How do you say day in Hebrew? Okay? Slacking. All right? Yawam is day. Yawam. Okay? That's Yawam. I put it in the chat. Yawam is day. Okay? Yawam is day. So if we're saying day 2, does anybody remember how to say 2? Okay? 2 is Yawam Shunya. Okay? And that's all we're saying. It's day 2. Okay? That's what it is. Day 2. Okay? Yawam Shunya. Day 2. Right? So day 1, or the Yawam Ra'ashwan, day 1, Yawam Shunya, day 2. Okay, let's go to day 3. Okay. Okay, what is day again in Hebrew? Okay, I'm going to keep asking you so you remember. What is day again in Hebrew? Okay, so we can remember. I'm going to keep asking you that. Okay. Okay, it's Yawam, And then 3 is Shalash. That's day 3. Okay, that's day 3. Okay, and this is all review from last week, but we always do review before we learn something new. Okay, so we got Yawam Ra'ashwan, day 1st, Yawam Shunya, day 2, Yawam Shalash, day 3. All right, let's put it all together. Remember, we say the chorus first. Okay, there are 7 days a week. We say that 4 times. We say the English 4 times, and then we say the days of the week. After we say the day in Hebrew, we say it in English. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it nice and slow. Yash. Okay, 1, 2. Do a snap. Do a beat. You know you can do a beat. Okay, here we go. Yash Shabbat Yum Yum Ba Shabawa. 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 There are 7 days in a week. 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 Yawam Ra'ashwan, day 1. Yawam Shunya, day 2. Yawam Shalash, day 3. Okay, excellent. All right. And when I was saying day 1, it really should be day 1st. Okay, got the first 3 down. That's a review from last week. All right. Now let's keep moving. All right. Now, after day 3, we have day 4. Yawam or Rabbi. Because 4 in Hebrew is or Rabbi. Okay, that's day 4. Okay. So let's say it a couple times. Yawam or Rabbi. Day 4. Yawam or Rabbi. Day 4. Yawam or Rabbi. Day 4. All right. Rocking and rolling. That's 4. Okay. And this is to remember. All right. Let's go to 5. Does anybody remember? How do you say? Put in the chat right now for day in Hebrew. I'm going to keep asking you so you remember. Put day in Hebrew and then put days right beside each other. Let's see if people remember. Put day and then days in the chat. How do you say day in Hebrew? And then how do you say days? Everybody do that now. Give me about 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Put day in Hebrew and then right next to it put days. How would you say that in Hebrew? Go ahead and put that in the chat and give me about 15 more seconds. I'll add 15 more seconds. Okay. I see one sister put Yawam, that's day. How do you put days in Hebrew? What is days? If I wanted to say not day, but days, how would you write days? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Add it. Okay, Shabbai is week or 7, but how do you say days? How do you say days? Shabbai is week or that's 7. Anybody remember? I know people remember. Anybody remember? For time's sake, it's yum yum. Remember, you add a yum at the end. So days is yum yum. Day is yawam. Days is yum yum. All right, let's keep it going. So day 5, yawam kamash. Okay, I'll put that in the chat. Day 5. Okay, yawam kamash. Day 5. Okay, that's day 5. All right. So we say Yawam Kamash, day 5. Yawam Kamash. Everybody practice with me. Say it with me. Yawam Kamash, day 5. Yawam Kamash, day 5. Yawam Kamash, day 5. Yawam Kamash, day 5. Yawam Arabai, day 4. Yawam Arabai, day 4. Yawam Arabai, day 4. Yawam Arabai, day 3. Let's go. Yawam Shalash, day 3. Yawam Shalash, day 3. Yawam Shalash, day 3. Yawam Shalash. Let's go to day 2. Yawam Shunya, day 2. Yawam Shunya, day 2. Yawam Shunya, day 2. Yawam Shun. Let's go back to 1. Yawam Ra'ashwan, day 1st. Yawam Ra'ashwan, day first. Yawam Ra'ashwan, day first. Yawam Ashwan, day 5. Okay, day first. I'm about to go back to 5. Let's go back to 5. Yawam Kamash, day 5. All right, you should be sweat. You should be nice at this. All right, put in the chat right now. How would I say day 3 in Hebrew? Put in the chat right now. How would you say day 3? Okay, go ahead and put day 3 in the chat. How would you say that? All right, and remember, I'm putting this stuff in the chat so you can see it. How would you say day 3? Go ahead and put that in the chat right now. Day 3. Okay. Day 3 would be Yawam Shalash. Okay. Day 4, Yawam Arabai. Day 5, Yawam Chamash. Cha. And make sure you get the cha, like almost like you're throwing your Chamash. That's 5. All right, let's go to 6. Okay. 6 is Yawam Shasha. Okay, that's day 6. Okay, Yawam, and I'm putting this in the chat. Yawam Shasha, that's day 6. All right, Yawam Shasha. Okay, and let's get day 7 in there. Oh, actually, let's practice day 6. Yawam Shasha, day 6. And say it with me. You have to speak the Hebrew if you're going to be fluent. Okay, you didn't, when you were a baby, you weren't just listening to the English or the Spanish, whoever you were trying to make sounds before you could speak. As babies, that's why babies are making sounds. They're repeating what they hear. Okay, you can't learn Hebrew if you're not saying it. You can't just sit there and listen it. You have to speak it. You have to say it. You have to formulate. You have to get the syndication down. You have to get the cadence down. So when I'm up here saying it, you have to say it too. Speak it. Okay? Just like if you're a babe. Okay? When the babies learn, they speak it. They're trying to make sounds. And they're not afraid to make a mistake. They're just making sounds and trying to say the words they hear. Okay? So let's say day 6. Yawam Shasha. Day 6. Yawam Shasha. Day 6. Yawam Shasha. Day 6. Yawam Shasha. Day 6. Yawam Kamash. Day 5. Yawam Kamash. Day 5. Yawam Chamash. Day 5. Yawam Chamash. Day 5. Yawam Arabai. Day 4. Yawam Arabai. Day 4. Yawam Arabai. Day 4. Yawam Arabai. Day 4. Yawam Shalash. Day 3. Yawam Shalash. Day 3. Yawam Shanya. Day 2. Yawam Shanya. Day 2. Yawam Ra'ashwan. Day 1st. Yawam Ra'ashwan. Day 1st. All right? Okay, so we got one more. And it is Yawam Shabbath. Okay? That is day rest. Okay? Shabbath means rest. Okay? We could say Yawam Shabbai, 7 day, but, this was the day we want to, call out the 7th day as the Sabbath because that was day rest. So they would be calling that day rest, the 7th day. Okay? They would also call it Yawam Shabbai, but we want to, set apart that day by calling it a day rest. Okay? All right? And that's why the Most High said, remember the Sabbath. So we want to say Sabbath by, in our songs that helps us to remember it. Yawam Shabbath, day rest. Yawam Shabbath, day rest. Yawam Shabbath, day rest. Okay? We want to have that in there. Okay? Yawam Shabbath, day rest. All right, let's put it all together. Let's get it all together. You should be saying the song too. Having your children right in front of the screen. Tell them, get off the iPad for a second and come over and learn this Hebrew. Okay? Have them shut the games off, whatever. And tell them to come in front of the screen and get it in their mind, especially if they're, they're young ones, because they're going to soak it in. Okay? All right, let's put it all together. Say it with me. Get a nice beat going if you need to. Let's go. 5, 6, 5, 6. Here we go. Ya shabai yum yum ba shabawa. 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 There are 7 days in a week. 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 Yawam Ra'ashwan, day first. Yawam Shunya, day 2. Yawam Shalash, day 3. Yawam Arabai, day 4. Yawam Kamash, day 5. Yawam Shasha, day 6. Yawam Shabbath, day rest. Yawam Shabbat. Again, here we go. Ya Shabbat yum yum ba shabawa. 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 Excellent. Excellent review. All right. All right. Shalom to the people just checking in. We just went over our song from last week as a review. Okay. Excellent. Sing the song, repeat this video, watch it, get it in your minds. Okay. That's how you're going to learn the Hebrew, by saying it. All right. Let's go over another quick review and then we get into our months. I know some people are really excited to learn about their months. Okay. Just like you're back in school. All right, pop quiz again. I give pop quizzes every week so that you remember what you did the week before. All right, here we go. Pop quiz number 1. Let's put it in the chat. I'll give you 30 seconds and I'll put the answer in. Here's the first question. Okay, we'll review our colors. What color, and make sure you put the color in Hebrew. What color is associated with, and when I say money, I'm talking about dollar bill type money, not coins. What color is associated with money, United States money, I'll say that. What color? Go ahead and put that in the chat, 15 seconds. Make sure you put the color in Hebrew. If you want to put in parentheses in English, it's fine. Go ahead and put that in the chat. What color is associated with bills, money bills? All right. Okay, I got a sister already getting it in there. The color should be Iraq. Okay, Iraq. Okay, that's green. I'll put that in the chat. That's green. You're rock. Excellent, sis. All right. Question number 2. What color is associated with, or colors? You can put 2 of them or more than one, whatever. What color or colors is associated with jewelry? 30 seconds. Go ahead and put it in the chat. What color or colors is associated with jewelry? Remember, in Hebrew, you can put it in English in the after you read the Hebrew, but color or colors is associated with jewelry. You should be real quick with this. If you've been studying, be real quick. Color or colors. 15 more seconds. What color or colors is associated with jewelry? Give me about 10 more seconds. All right, that's time. All right, hopefully people put it in the chat. Okay, I see a sister put in the chat. Okay, Zahab and Kasap. That's excellent. I just said it in reverse. I put in the chat. Kasap is silver. Zahab is gold. Silver and gold are usually associated with jewelry. All right, number 3. Here we go. We're doing excellent. If you don't know these, look at the chat so you can have this down in your notes. Here we go. What color is usually associated with a school bus? Put it in the chat. Okay, 15 seconds. What color is associated with a school bus? Put it in the chat. All right, 5 seconds. What color is associated with a school bus? Excellent. One sister's on the ball tonight. Tazahab, yellow. Okay, Tazahab. Here we go. We'll move a little faster. What color is associated with tires on your car? What color? What color is associated with the tires on your car? Let's make it 10 seconds now. Now you only got 10 seconds to write the answer in. Your color should be just like this. What color is associated with that? 5 seconds. What color is associated? Okay, to be shachar or shachawar, black. Excellent. Here we go. Next one. Let's do what color is associated, color or colors is associated with an apple. What color or colors is associated with an apple? What color or colors is associated with an apple? All right, 5 seconds. Should be real quick with these. Okay, excellent. Should be Adawam, which is red, Yarak, which is green. All right, let's do one more or a couple more. What color is associated with pumpkins? What color is associated with a pumpkin? What color is that? Color is associated with a pumpkin. Put it in the chat. Excellent. Kathawam, orange. All right. What color, or you could say colors, what color or maybe colors is associated with dirt or soil? What color? Five seconds. All right. Kawam, excellent, is brown. Some people might have said red too, Kawam is ground. And, in the Bible, Adawam is kind of associated with the ground, okay? So it could have been red too. You could have said red or brown. Okay, in Hebrew, a lot of times the ground or the soil was associated with red, probably in that area over there in Israel. All right. What color or colors is associated with the sky? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What color or colors is associated with the sky? Go ahead and put it in the chat. This will be our last one before we move on. All right. Excellent. Okay, I see a sister put it in there. Fakalath, and you could have said and Laban, blue and white. Could have said either of those. That's associated with the sky. Fakalath is blue, Laban is white. All right. Let's go over our seasons. All right. What season? Let me ask this. What season did we have the harvest that we usually have the harvest? Did we have our harvest? Remember, we're only going over 2 seasons. So what season in Hebrew was our harvest time? What season was that? And remember, make sure you answer in Hebrew. What season was that where we would have our harvest? Excellent, sis. It was Kwayatazah, the summer. What season was associated with us planting? What season was that? Put it in the chat. What season was that? We did our planting. Summer was Kwayatazah. That's where we'll harvest. Remember, in Israel, it was only 2 seasons. Okay, what season was associated with the planting? All right, 5 seconds. All right, should have been Charap. Charap. That is winter. Okay, that's winter. All right. That's the winter. That's the reason we did our planting at. Okay. All right. Oh, I can show that up on the screen. All right. Hey, learn something new. All right. I'll start putting this stuff on the screen too. All right. So, now what season, okay, or what's the temperature in Hebrew for, what's the word for hot in Hebrew? What's the word for hot in Hebrew? It's the word for hot. Let's put it in the chat. Excellent. Okay. And I'll put that on the screen. That's hot. Chum. Okay. Chum. All right. Go ahead and put that down. All right. What's the word for cold in Hebrew? Cold. Starting to get cold outside. Put that in the chat. It's the word for cold. Excellent. Okay. Sister put it there. I'll put it up. Quar. Okay. Quar. It means cold. I'll put it here and I'll put it in. I'll put it in English right next to it. That's cold. All right. Learn some new stuff tonight. Me and this technology are getting a little better. People be proud of me a little bit. Quar. That's cold. Okay. It's right up on the screen. Okay. All right. I'll put it back up there. Make sure you have this. All right. We're moving along here. Now comes to another fun part. We're going to go over now our months. Okay. We're going to go over the months. All right. Especially the first 7 months, because the first 7 months in Hebrew was the time of harvest. That was where our summer season was. That's where our feasts took place in the first 7 months. Okay. All right. So we want to go over those months. And then the last 5 months was the months of planting. That was our planting month. So it's 5 months of planting, 7 months of harvest. Okay. So we want to go over our months. You know, for time's sake, we'll see where we go. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we can get all this in. All right. But let's first start out with months in year. Okay. So the title of the song, you got a neat sheet of paper and notes. We're going to call this Months. I'll put it in Hebrew. No, let's put it in English first. Months in year. You know, we're going to make this a song anyway. And when I say song, we're not making this a song like we're in the Christian church. Not like we're getting a tambourine. Doom, doom, doom. We're not doing that. This is for you to learn. Okay? So please don't get it twisted and be like, Uriah is doing Christian songs. It's not that. Okay? I want you to remember, and when you're learning something, especially I work with, I think I told you, I work with pre-K kids all the time. And a lot of times the way we learn is very concrete. We're doing hands-on, we're singing, we're coloring, and it gets a picture in their mind before it becomes abstract. You learned everything concretely first, okay? And another way you learned was through song, through movement. That's how you learned, okay? That's why we're doing this, and so that you can grasp it before it becomes abstract. The colors that you understand are abstract. You just know what yellow looks like, okay? Right now, though, we want to still have that, get that. Right now, as we're learning Hebrew, it's not as abstract yet as English, okay? But we're going to get there. So, months in a year, okay? How do we say that? How do we say that in Hebrew? Well, month in Hebrew is Qadash. Qadash. Maybe down here. Qadash. Okay? But I want to say months. So remember, does anybody remember, how do I add like a S, or how do I make a word plural in some cases in Hebrew? What do I add at the end? Go ahead and put that in the chat. What do I put at the end? See if anybody remembers. What do I put at the end of a word? Anybody remember? Okay? For time's sake, you put a yum at the end. So, in Hebrew, let's do it like this. I'll put it both. Month is Qadash. I'll put Qadash equals month. Okay? And Qadash Yum equals months. Okay? That equals months. I'll put it in the chat so you can see it. I'll put it up on the screen. Looks like you're adding an S at the end. Okay? So, let's put it up here. Chadash is month. Chadash Yom equals months. So, we're learning about months. So, we want to say months in year. Okay? So, months in year. I'll put it back up there while I'm doing the next one. So, months in year in Hebrew would be Qadash Yom, Salakia, Qadash Yom, in, does anybody remember how to say in? What's the word for in? Put it in the chat. In, on, or by. What's that word? Put it in the chat. Anybody remember? Okay. Excellent. Ba. So months, Kadashim, ba, and then year is Shana. Okay. So we'll put this in English and we'll put this in Hebrew. So excellent. I see a couple sisters put in there. So months and year. Okay. So months and year, let's put this now up there, is Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Shana is year. So Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Okay? Right? So Kadashim Bashana. It's months in year. All right. So let's make this, let's sing this out a little bit or get a little beat. We're just going to start out, like I said, with the chorus. We're going to say Kadashim Bashana, and then we're going to say it in English. We'll say the chorus 4 times, then we'll say it in English 4 times. Okay? Same way we did the other one, days in the week. Okay? So, how will we say it? Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Say it with me. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. All right, let's do it again 4 times. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. Back to Hebrew. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. All right? Should have that cadence down. Okay? Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Kadashim Bashana. Okay? Months in year. And like I said, when people say, well, how do you say year in Hebrew? You'll go back into the song. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Oh, year is Shana. Okay? How do you say month in Hebrew? You'll be like, how do you say month? Oh, Kadashim Bashana. Oh, well, that's month. So month has to be Chadash. Oh, Chadash. You see, it will start to stick because you'll remember the songs you sing. Okay? You'll remember the beats, the cadence. You'll remember that. Okay? So, again, Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Okay, now, got the months and years, so let's go over our months. All right? Same as the days of the week. Instead of us saying Yawam Ra'ashwan, we're saying what? How do we say first month or head month in Hebrew? Take what you learned from the other song and tell me what you put in the chat. How would you say month one? Okay? Remember the other song? Okay? How would you say month one? So like I was reading the months ago. All right, how would you say day one? Or month one, not day one, month one. Put it in the chat. I'll give you 15 more seconds. How would you say month one? I know somebody has it. Remember, how do you say day one or first day? You should be able to say month one. I'll start putting it in the chat. I know somebody has it. Okay, as I'm putting it in the chat, somebody gonna get it in there. I've been paying attention. There we go. I knew the sister would have it. Okay. It would be Qadash Ra'ashwan. Excellent. Month first. Month first. Excellent. Go ahead. All right. Let's see another sister. Qadash Ra'ashwan. Month first. Okay. Month first. That's how you would say it. So let's do the other two. I want you to do the other two in the chat, and then we're going to say it. Put in the chat, how would you say month 2 and month 3? Okay? Let's put it in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and do the cadence. Okay? Let's put that in the chat. I'll give you some time. How would you say month 2? So put them both in there. Do month 2 and month 3. How would you say it? Okay, we got the first month. Qadash Ra'ashwan. Qadash Ra'ashwan. Qadash Ra'ashwan. Okay? Okay. So we got Qadash, or Qadashim Bashana. Months and year. Qadash Ra'ashwan. Okay, Qadash Ra'ashwan. First month. Month 1. All right. There we go. Somebody came, you know how they say somebody came to class. Okay. Somebody's rocking it out here in the chat. That's excellent. All right. Let's see if I can take this off. Okay. So excellent. So we have month 2 and month 3. So month 2, okay, is Qadash, Shunya, and that's month 2. And then month 3 we have, I'll put equals. Let's equals month 2. And then we have Qadash, Shalash equals month 3. All right. We got all of that there. Put it in the chat. I'm going to put it on the screen for us. Okay. Qadash, Shunya, month 2. Qadash, Shalash, month 3. Okay. So you probably can use common sense to go over all the other months. You can write down your notes how the rest of the months will be. Okay. We're just going to put it, in a song. We're going to put it in a song, and then we're going to see if we can do it. All right. We're just going to do the first 3 today, then we'll add on as we go. All right. Here we go. All right. Remember when I said we do the cadence? We sing it 4 times in Hebrew. We say it 4 times in English. Then we go into our months. Okay. Here we go. All right. Everybody should be ready. Remember, you're singing this too, or you're saying it. You don't have to sing it all loud and all that. Just say it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, let's go together. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Kadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. Kadash Ra'ashwan. Kadash Ra'ashwan. Kadash Ra'ashwan. Kadash Ra'ashwan. Month 1. Month 1. Month 1. Month 1. Kadash Shunya. Kadash Shunya. Kadash Shunya. Kadash Shunya. Month 2. Month 2. Month 2. Month 2. Qadash Shalash. Qadash. Oh, actually, let me say that again. Qadash Shalash. Qadash Shalash. Qadash Shalash. Qadash Shalash. Month 3. Month 3. Month 3. Month 3. Qadashim Bashana. Qadashim Bashana. Qadashim Bashana. Qadashim Bashana. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. Months in year. All right. We've gotten through it. Okay. We've said parts of the month song. Hopefully you were going along. You don't have to sing and holler it, but you want to just get the cadence down. Okay, the point of all this is to get the cadence down and to understand, get back to, understanding our heritage and the words that we're speaking. Okay, and to understand it so that you will, be more fluent. Okay, and this is our way to be fluent. All right, so let's review really quickly what we learned today, what we went over, what we did. We reviewed our days of the week. All right. Let's do a couple tests. How would you say day rest in Hebrew? How would you say day rest? Put it in the chat right now. I'll give you a few seconds. How would you say day rest? See if people, you got to see if people are paying attention. How do you say day rest in Hebrew? Think about the song. Think about what we said. Think about the beat. How would you say day rest? Go ahead and put that in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat myself. All right. I see somebody put it in there. Okay. It should be Yom Shabbat, which means day rest. Okay? Yom Shabbat, day rest. All right? That's what it means. All right. Yom Shabbat, day rest. All right, let's go. Let's do a couple more. How would you say day 4 in Hebrew? Day 4. I'll put it in the chat. I'll be typing it. Okay, day 4. All right. All right, excellent. It should have been Yawam or Rabbi. I'll go ahead and put that up there. Excellent. Let's see, Yawam or Rabbi. That's day 4. All right, just slack you for a second. Bear with me. I'm just sending this message to this officer. All right. Slack you for 1 second. Bear with me. Okay. Just send that to that warrior there. All right. So that's Yawam or Rabbi, day 4. All right, one more. How would you say months in year? How would you say months in year? Go ahead and put that in the chat. How would you say months in year? I'll put it here. Go ahead and put that in the chat. What would you say months? Okay, good. All right. And make sure, remember, there's no there's only 2 vowels in the Hebrew. So make sure you're not putting any other. Remember, there should only be an A or an I. Okay, in your Hebrew. Make sure you're looking at that. Okay. Kadashim Bashana, months in year. Okay. Excellent job. There's a couple sisters on here that's participating. Excellent job. Okay. Kadashim Bashana, months in year. All right. Did an excellent job. All right. So we went over our months. We went over the first 3 months. We understand what it says when it says days in a week. And now we know what it is when we say days in a year. Okay, or months in a year, Slakia. And we know the word year is Shana. We know month is Kadash. If I want to make something plural, I say Kadash Yom. Okay? Now, this is the case for a lot of times in Hebrew, you put a Yom at the end. There's other cases where you'll put a Wath at the end, but we'll get into that later. Okay, but for right now, just know if I want to make something plural in Hebrew, I put a Yom at the end. It's like adding an S. Okay, and then as we get more into it, we'll understand when you put a Wath at the end to make something plural. Okay, we also went over and reviewed our seasons. Put in the chat how many seasons there are in the land of Israel. Go ahead and put that in the chat. How many seasons are there? How many seasons? And then put the seasons. Put the number of seasons and then put what the seasons are in the chat. Excellent. All right. And put what are those seasons called? Excellent. I see. All right. And put the name of those seasons. What are they called in Hebrew? I mean, you can put them in Hebrew or you can say in English. Either way. Okay. Actually, you should have said that at all in should have said it in English. I mean, in Hebrew, the number. Okay. Just, All right. I'll put this right here. Okay. All right. And I'll put this on the screen. Excellent. The sisters in here online are doing excellent today. All right. I'll put this, I'll put it in English and Hebrew. All right. So what do we have here? We have 2 seasons, Shunya. Okay. That's 2. We got winter, summer, winter, Koyatasa, and Harap. Okay. All right. So that's summer is Koyatasa, Harap is winter, and Shunya is 2. All right. We did excellent work today. We even reviewed our colors, our seasons, our days of the week, and now we're going over our months. All right. We are the ISBA coming out of 1 West Harlem, New York, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding Jenny Yohana. Pretty much, if new rules for our brothers and sisters. If you are new to the school, for brothers and sisters new to school, they're off limit for 6 months. After that 6 months, if they would like to court, they need to get the captain and the captain's person in charge permission. After that, they will date for another 6 months. And then after that, they are, if the captain approves, they are, or whoever the leading officer is, they can marry if that is approved. Make sure that you send tithes in Hebrew is Ma'ashara, or you can do a donation for the Hebrew fund. Donations at your school. Also, the next feast day that's coming up is Hanukkah, and that is December 14th. So don't forget, make sure you look out for that. Look out for also the ISBK on social media. If a new brother in the school would like to be a trooper, which means being more involved, he needs to be wearing all black, which is black boots, shoes, pants, shirts. Other than that, we're going to give a salute. Armadium. Okay. We'll give a salute to the sisters. I don't know if there's any brothers clap, but I'll salute the brothers. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Thumb. And then I will salute the sisters. Yahweh Shamar Alathun Bashim Yahushai. And we'll end it off here. This concludes the Lashawan class tonight. Shalom.